Hi,
Each of us has our own unique background and story of how we became a part of Chiefs Kingdom.
Our reach is far and wide, with fans all over the world cheering on our Kansas City Chiefs.
Everyone donning the red and gold has figuratively signed that mutual agreement and come together for one common purpose.
For 76,000 of us at a time, to descend upon Arrowhead, man our stations, let out our loudest battle cry to the tune of 142.2 decibels, and make that stadium rock until our opponents beg for mercy.
We are unrelenting in our pride for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the Allies, Arrowhead Allies.
And you are looking live at Radio Row here in Phoenix, Arizona. It is Super Bowl 57. It's time to get serious, guys. Last week, we reveled in the AFC Championship victory, and now it's time to get down to business, coming from opening night last night, meeting with some of the players, a lot of dignitaries up and down the Radio Row here this week. Guys, it's time to knuckle up and time to get going. It's Super Bowl week. How's everybody doing?
Doing well, man. Just trying to take everything in. I'm looking at all the Super Bowl videos. This is it's really what we thought a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of teams, especially us. But here we are, here again in our fifth bowl. And I just want to tell young Chiefs Kingdom, who's seen nothing but championships and winning from this organization,
must be nice
to really relish what we're witnessing right now and to really take it in and to eat and digest everything. We don't know when we're going to be back, although, we had Patrick. We don't know when we're going to get back. So don't take this Super Bowl thing for granted because it is special. Bask in it.
Amen, amen. You hit the nail on the head, Brian. I echo those sentiments 110%. I've said it a million times since the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes. This is an exciting time to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan. We got Noah and Clint in Phoenix, Arizona, Glendale, Arizona, Winslow, Arizona, standing on that corner, taking care of business. I appreciate the interviews with the leading officials from Fox News that was you just posted on Twitter, as well as your stuff with Rich Gannon, your interviews on YouTube with Kadarius Toney, Joshua Williams, Carlos Dunlap. Man, we appreciate your work. And man, let us know what we're seeing, because we're living through you both at this present time. What are you guys seeing out there?
Well, Shane, I knew that Carl Cheffers was kind of a big spot for you, thinking about him and worrying about the calls. Dean Blandino assured us that it's all going to be okay. And most of Chiefs Kingdom, after we posted that, say they don't believe him and it's not going to be okay. Is it going to be okay, Shane? I need to know.
My buddy Clay Willer from Red Tribe Cinema says the Chiefs are undefeated against Carl Cheffers under the Patrick Mahomes era. So I'm going to let he rest my mind at ease. You went and asked the tough questions. You went right to it, Noah. Made your props. You went right to it and said, hey, Chiefs Kingdom's got some concern. That helps. We were concerned going into the AFC Championship game, talking about that referee as well, but it all turned out fine. So as Carl Peterson always said a million times, we not only got to be better than our opponent, we have to be better than the refs.
Yeah, of course. It's a Super Bowl, and they try to get the best crew available. We know our history with Carl, but like Dean said, these guys study the tendencies. That should not be a factor, guys. The Chiefs have to go out there and play their game. But a lot of people we talk to, guys, including Rich Gannon, including a lot of the interviews we've done, see this as a complete coin flip, 50-50. Now, no running quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl, but we know Jalen Hurts can hurt you in many ways. the RPO being the big one. Rich Gannon also said the team that runs the ball the best is going to win, and we know that's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles, Brian. That scares me a little bit.
No need to be scared. There's reason for, concern or attention to detail. Certainly, this Eagles team is not here by accident. They've been great throughout the year. There were times where they were figured out. They were in a close game against the Colts. They got behind the Jaguars by some points. Dallas got the best of them. Yeah, that was Gardner Minshew, and they weren't running the ball as effectively. But there are some holes in this Philadelphia offense that I think that Spaz can really take advantage of. But you got to control that run game, though. That's the number one priority. Last time that we were talking about the AFC Championship game, I said it had to be a Chris Jones game, a Frank Clark game. They had to get after Burrow. They have to shut 26 down, in my opinion, in this game. Jalen Hurts is dangerous, but Miles Sanders, when he gets going, oh boy, oh man, he is a dangerous guy out there. He can do it all. He got power, he has speed, he can cut, he has hands. He's a great back. So the D line has to have gap discipline. Chris Jones can't be running after Jalen Hurts all game. This game, he has to really play the run, and I think that's a strength of Frank Clark. And I think the D line will be up for the task, man. But that's priority number one, most certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. And hold on, Shay. I just want to talk about the Eagles haven't played any quarterbacks here all the way down the stretch. I mean, the Chiefs have. They've played the Justin Herberts, the Josh Allens, the Tom Bradys, the Joe Burrows. We've faced them. The Eagles haven't. We talked to Mitch Holtis about that. He mentioned that to us. So Shane is not going to play a role here. We have the best quarterback in the NFL, the MVP, Patrick Mahomes, and the Eagles haven't seen anything like him.
Definitely. And what I was going to say, and good point, Noah, and I agree, it goes along with what you just said. The Eagles haven't been battle tested. Are they good? Sure. They were the number one seed in the NFC, but in those games, they were just blowouts. It was one-sided. The games were over early. If this game's nip and tuck going late into the third quarter and it's going back and forth, we know our Kansas City Chiefs play that style of football. Will the Eagles be up for that task? If it's nip and tuck, who do you want? You want guys who've had experience in that battle, and the Kansas City Chiefs have been like that all season. So I look forward to the Chiefs take advantage of their experience when the bullets are flying, when it's time to freaking start going back and forth. I like the Chiefs and their experience in this. What do you think, Clint?
Yeah, Brian mentioned the defensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs, but what about the defensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles? We talked to Andrew Wiley last night, Trey Smith last night about their assignment, trying to take on this group, which includes Graham, Cox, Hargrave, and Sweat. 70 sacks, guys, in the league this year. The Philadelphia Eagles were number one in sacks, the Chiefs second in sacks, but it also comes down to turnovers. Jalen Hurts, undefeated when they don't turn the ball over. They turned it over 2-3 times against the Commanders, lost that game, and that's what it can come down to, because the Chiefs have played clean football in the playoffs for the most part, except for the ball slipping out of Patrick Mahomes' hands in the late in the third quarter against the Cincinnati Bengals. So to me, Brian B. Shinan, turnovers and the Eagles' front four are going to be a force to be dealt with, and that could play a huge role.
Oh, hell yeah. They got freaks over there. I will put Philadelphia in the same tier as far as athleticism and freaks on their team, like with the 49ers, Dolphins. Those teams have some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on their team. And there's no difference in these Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, and Raphael, they're on that D-line, and you just mentioned them. You didn't even mention Hassan Reddick, who's another freak on the outside, who plays linebacker, but he can line up on the edge as well.
I don't think we mentioned Robert Quinn yet.
So, look, man, the O-line got to bring it, and we got the Hogs to do it too, though. All right, you look at Creed Humphrey. Come on, man, one of the top 2, top 3. We got the best centers in the game going against each other with Kelsey and Creed Humphrey. But Orlando Brown, you're a Pro Bowler. You've done okay in the playoffs so far. Earn you a paycheck in the Super Bowl. Earn you a bag. Here you go. Here's your challenge right now. Prove to everybody that you can keep the promise that you had in the offseason. And what was that? Trying to keep 15 clean. Okay, here's your bag opportunity right here. Andrew Wiley is the big concern for me, fellas. Not gonna lie to you. We've seen Highway 77 be open for business. And this is the biggest game of them all, the biggest game of his life. Besides that, though, Andrew Wiley's my only concern. Not really concerned about the other guys. I think they can handle business when it comes to mano a mano and getting some holes open for Pacheco and protection for Pat.
Yeah, and Shane, I want to go to you with the injuries. I mean, we hear McCole Hardman goes to IR. They activate Clyde Edwards-Helaire off IR, and then sounds like everybody else is going to be healthy. Your L'Jarius Sneed, your Willie Gage, your Kadarius Tonys. I mean, it sounds like Juju is going to be able to give it a go as well. So what do we make of these injuries? McCole going to IR, Edwards-Helaire up. Is 25 going to see some action in the Super Bowl?
I hope not. I think the Chiefs' running game has gotten better since Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been on injury reserve. I know people may say he scored 7 or 8 touchdowns this year, but still the team has gotten better since Pacheco and McKinnon have handled that. I was hoping if they put McCole Hardman on injury reserve, the wide receiver. But hearing that Andy Reid said they practiced in pads yesterday, and from what I heard from it on NFL Network, that it was supposedly a good padded practice. You know, they really went at it, and everybody practiced. Everybody looked good. He would not say that Patrick Mahomes is 100%. I don't know if he's just trying to be play on it, but I think that I don't know if he's trying to decoy the Eagles or whatnot, but Patrick's going to play, and we know he's going to play well. Of course, I'm concerned about the injuries, and I'm not knocking Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I just don't feel that he brings anything to the table that we're going to need unless Patrick Mahomes isn't mobile and they have a game plan of just screen passing the Eagles to death. That's my take on that. What do you think, Clint?
Yeah, guys, I want to talk about kind of the pomp and circumstance involved with the Super Bowl. Shane, you are the elder statesman here. We came in the 90s and we knew nothing but heartbreak and not getting it done in the playoffs. But when we're talking about 3 out of 4 years being in the Super Bowl and we're in these type of environments, last night at the Footprint Center, 10,000 people, the ovations that you heard for these teams just walking out on stage, and to be a part of that when the Chiefs were never in that forefront. So Shane, they are now. What do you revel in this more, do you think, than the average fan that since you go so far back with this team?
Definitely. I'm definitely at peace. I'm definitely at peace spiritually, emotionally, physically. Definitely. I revel in it. I enjoy it. I take it one day at a time. I know you guys have only been watching since the 1990s. I go back to 1977 when I was 7.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful time. I love the fact that we are the talk of the NFL. We're hated, as Mitch Holtz has said. You can dislike us, but you're going to have to deal with us. It's weird. It's weird being on that. It's weird being on that side of the table, because usually people that, if they didn't like Kansas City, they always have felt sorry for Kansas City because we're a small city. Now they're like, we don't really like Kansas City anymore. So we're the bad guys. So it's a weird feeling for me to feel like the majority of the football world doesn't like Kansas City anymore. 2019, they were rooting for us to beat the 49ers. Wow. 3 years later, I think the majority of football fans that are not in Chiefs Kingdom are going to be rooting against us.
I love it.
They know we're going to be here for a long period of time.
I love it, especially on my TikTok at Brian B. Shining. Look, check this out, man. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting to be the bad guy. I'm a fan of wrestling. I think we all are on here. My favorite character, probably of all time, might be 1997 Shawn Michaels. Oh man, when he turned heel, he dug his claws into it, baby. Okay, we saw it live in Kansas City at Kemper Arena.
Who's the showstopper?
You dig it? Yes. So yes, I'm just like you, Shane. I'm tired of being a good guy. I'm tired of being nice. I'm tired of being the lovable losers. Nah, that's done. I want to stomp on people's heads. I want to brag about it. And I want to make sure that nobody has nothing to say to me. I really do, man. This is why this Super Bowl is so important. I am so ready to be 1998 Rock, 1997 Shawn Michaels, 1996 Hollywood Hulk Hogan. All right. How about the weird 2000? What was that? 3 Steve Austin when he turned heel.
That was very weird.
That's the bag I'm ready to dig in, fellas. Let's go, Chiefs Kingdom. Mount up, baby.
Well, Brian, you're a run game guy. You're a defensive line guy. And I've got to just talk about this Eagles run game and the quarterback run game with Jalen Hurts, because that scares me. But then again, I was scared of Michael Vick coming into Arrowhead in 2004, and we demolished them. We mollywopped them.
Yeah, I look at this team similar to, I guess, the Ravens in 2019, but with better weapons on the outside. Look, A.J. Brown is nothing to play with. That guy's dangerous. But let me ask you guys this question, though. I'm gonna answer your question, but I want to ask your question with a question. And it goes a different route, though. Do you think the Bengals receivers are better or worse than the Eagles receivers?
Better.
As a group.
You think the Bengals are better, Shane?
Yeah.
Bengals are better as a group, but man, AJ Brown's a beast.
He is. But that's going to play a part in this run game, and that's why I brought it up. Is because the Chiefs have shown the ability to lock down, for the most part, a high potent offense that the Bengals had. And I think the Chiefs have that ability to do that with Philadelphia. And that's going to make them heavily rely on that run game, which makes Willie Gay and Nick Bolton's job so important, as they're going to have to be aware of the RPO situation, like you guys stated earlier. That run game is mean, though, man. And I mentioned Willie Gay and Nick Bolton along with that D-line. Those guys really got to coordinate with each other, because you leave the wrong hole open, and Miles Sanders is going to take it to the crib.
And we want to welcome Mykell Matthew to the show.
Money Badger.
Hey, it's a bare bones operation here. We're at Radio Row with earbuds in our ears because our mics won't plug into this thing. But Mykell, we're getting it done because it is the Super Bowl. Welcome. You're not too far from us over there on the West Coast in Los Angeles, California. How are you feeling about this week, my friend?
Man, I'm feeling really excited. I think that, I looked over some games. I watched the Colts game. I watched the Cardinals game. And I saw a defensive plan that the Chiefs defense can do, to make it as tough as possible against the Eagles. So I think that they can implement that. And if the guys can execute, that the Chiefs will be in good hands. They haven't faced a great quarterback this entire season. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been the same. Dak Prescott, I don't look at him as an elite guy. So I'm very excited for the opportunities that KC have. I can't wait, man. I'm excited for this game.
I mean, what are we making of this? I mean, Mykell, I want to go back to you and just kind of, what do you see in this Eagles defense? I mean, obviously they've got Slay and James Bradbury at corner, and they've got this talented defensive line. We've talked about a little 70 sacks. I mean, Clint rolled off the names there, and they go deep. And if they want to bring off that crew, the starters, and bring in a rotation, they've got more guys to fill in there. What do you make of this Chiefs offense against this Eagles defense?
Man, of course they have a great pass rush. But I don't think that the Chiefs are in no worse of a situation that they were in a few years ago when they were in the Super Bowl, coming in with a banged-up offensive line. I think this team is much better at running the football. I think this team is not just looking to take the top off. They're willing to dink and dunk you down the field to score points. And if you watch the games that the quarterbacks that they did face, Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love were able to score 33 points. Dak was able to get you 30-plus. So they haven't faced Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs were able to see how the defensive scheme kind of works last year when they played the Eagles. So it's not going to be like unfamiliar territory. I think that it's going to come to guys making plays and stepping up. Darius Slay, James Bradbury are really good corners, but they're not like shut down guys that keep guys from making plays. And I think they're kind of weak in the middle of the field. So this can be a huge Travis Kelce. This can be a huge Kadarius Toney game. This can be a huge game for one of the running backs out of the backfield catching the ball. That's why I think having Clyde there, he's going to help with some short yardage and red zone stuff if needed. I'm feeling pretty good about the Chiefs' chances this Sunday. It's just going to come down to guys executing and making big-time plays.
Brian, I want to go to you real quick with Devontae Smith and the Chiefs' kind of secondary, but most importantly, their safeties. Because, yes, we may have played a better receiver group in the Bengals with Chase, Higgins, and Boyd, but Devontae Smith can turn on the afterburners and get behind the secondary, so our safeties are going to have to play a great game.
Yes, sir. I agree fully. Not only him, Quez Watkins, he's a burner too. AJ Brown, he's a burner too. That's why I was saying earlier about these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that these Philadelphia Eagles have, man. It's just freaks all over the place. But here's the thing, though. I think that speed might be null and void, though, because Jalen Hurts is not 100%, fellas. That shoulder is still giving him issues. And you know, they weren't able to test that against the 49ers. After the first quarter, it was lights out. It was curtains after that for the most part. You know, so yeah, that goes back to your point about them being battle tested too. Going with Jalen Hurts and seeing if he can haul the ball down the field, because you're going to need to do that, because like somebody said in the comments, Spags can dial some things up, man. Spags has been shown to come up big in these big games. Even in Super Bowl 55, I thought Spags did an okay job. We just got absolutely hosed by the refs in that game, and minus the offensive line. We know the story about that. But my point is, man, I think with the Jalen Hurts, those wide receivers aren't going to get as loose as they have against other teams. I'm looking for more wide receiver screens, maybe one-on-one matchups that they can take advantage of in the short yardage situations, like Mykell said earlier about them dinking and dunking. I can see a lot of that out of their pass game and not necessarily going downfield.
Well, Shane, when you look at the stats here, there's some conflicting stats, if you will. I don't know how much you've looked at it, but we know that both teams scored the exact same amount of points. I think it was 546 this season. Both teams 16-3. Both teams number one seeds. Both teams have a starter named Kelsey on their offense. Okay, we know all that. But in the NFL history, in three Super Bowls, the top pass defense has played against the top pass offense, and the pass defenses are 3-0 in those situations. I think maybe it was Brian earlier that kind of mentioned this. Maybe it was Mykell, actually, the San Francisco Super Bowl. This game reminds me of that so much. It's an unknown opponent that we don't know a lot about. You know these opponents in the AFC so well. It was personal against the Bengals. This game has kind of some weird components against a player like Jalen Hurts that you don't see that type of player much. We did play them last year. I don't think that plays a big role. But when you look at all the totality of this, Shane, and you throw it up into a big bowl and you mix it together, what do you see coming out? Is this a powder keg of a situation waiting to explode?
I think you got to throw out the stats and once the game's played, you know, because all the most of the Chiefs starters are playing, and you know we hear that Hurts is injured, you know, Mahomes is injured as well, so we got to find out how he's going to be Friday in practice. I know you guys were watching that in Arizona as well. There was some talk about how Patrick Mahomes' ankle is going to be in practice. Then how he's going to manipulate the game plan if he can't get out of the pocket. But I think the Chiefs and the Eagles, when they both play together, it's going to be exciting. But I'm not really worried about the stats. I know that if you're saying the Eagles defense is number one, then you're slighting the Chiefs stats and Frank Clark. Frank Clark's third in NFL history in playoff sacks. So are we going to take out that stat? No. Are we going to take out the stat that Chris Jones is having a really good year? You know, because I don't want to slight the Chiefs defense, giving the Eagles defense all the credit, even though the stats say that they're number one. Like Brian said, the Eagles haven't played Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce this year. They played against a bunch of scrubs. And correct me if I'm wrong, the Washington Commanders quarterback, what's his name? Number 4 went in there.
Heineke.
Taylor Heineke went in there a month and a half ago on Monday Night Football and shredded them. And I watched that game thinking, man, I thought the Eagles were supposed to be good. Now, I'm not going to say the Chiefs are going to cakewalk the Super Bowl, but we saw Taylor Heineke and the Washington Commanders just do whatever they wanted against the Eagles that night. So, and that was with Jalen Hurts. So the Eagles have not faced a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. They have not faced a team this season that is this battle tested. And when things are going and when this game's close, going back and forth late in the third quarter, the Chiefs are the team with that experience, and that experience across the board from the coaching staff onto these rookies that are on the field will know how to handle it. I don't know if the Philadelphia Eagles will.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
we
that kind of goes to my point there for Mykell. I mean, we talked to Carlos Dunlap. I tried to wish him good luck. He said, thanks, but we won't need luck. So talk about the confidence, especially that this defense is feeling late in the season through the playoffs. They are playing their best ball of the season, and they are confident going into the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I just think that the Chiefs are so confident because they trust their coaches. I believe that, you know, they know that Spags has been there, you know, 3-time Super Bowl winner on the defensive end, and he's going to have those guys ready to go. And they've seen a similar scheme before against the Baltimore Ravens the last few years they played against them. They play a similar style there with the Eagles, a lot of comeback routes, a lot of short crossing routes, because you don't want to have Jalen Hurts having to make 10, 12, 15 big throws in the game. You're trying to make the game as easy as possible. So I think the vets are like, we played Buffalo, we played Cincinnati. Like, we seen Devontae Adams and the Raiders offense earlier in the season when they were playing much better with Josh Jacobs running the ball. So the Chiefs are kind of like on the defensive end, there's nothing crazier that we haven't seen nothing crazy before. So we're well prepared. And then, the vets who's been there and done that are going to be ready to go. So it's going to come once again, it's going to come down to those young guys in the secondary to make plays against Smith, against Watkins and Browns and go there. But I think they're ready to go.
Brian, there's a different feel coming into this game. We knew the villain that awaited us in the Cincinnati Bengals. That was a clearly defined Darth Vader that you had to get past, and it was personal. And you heard what Frank Clark said. They were going to run the AFC. They lied. But here's the thing. Coming into this game against the city of brotherly love, you literally have some brotherly love going on here. And in fact, a little too much for my taste. This is a little too fuzzy for me right now coming into this game. We got a Kelsey on each side. We know that story. I don't know. This is a different feeling when you go into a Super Bowl against an opponent that you don't really know, and you don't have that hatred. You don't have that competition going all season long, trying to get the 1 seed, trying to get playoff positioning. This is a different assignment for this Chiefs team than we've been used to all season.
Yeah, man. I see two teams that respect the hell out of each other. I was looking at all of the Super Bowl opening night videos, and there was nothing but admiration on both sides.
Sure.
And that's something that I really like and enjoy. You all mentioned the stats earlier. 2 number 1 seeds, 16-3 records, and all the other things. It's just so many similarities, but yet the playing styles are so different on both sides of the ball, for both teams, man. So I just see a lot of mutual respect. And there are a lot of similarities, especially for me too, personally, because I told you the Bengals game was personal because my wife is from Cincinnati. Well, my mother is from the Philadelphia area. And so, yeah. So, yeah, my mother, she doesn't watch football like that, but she likes the Eagles and she likes the Chiefs as well, of course, with my influence. But yeah, personally, it's a lot of similarities for me too. How about Big Charlie's Saloon? We're all familiar with that. I would love to interview them to see how they're doing. But yeah, I see a lot of respect for both sides. I enjoy that. And that doesn't mean that these guys aren't going to go at it on the field. Like these are two teams that have the ultimate competitors. And so when you get on the field, all of that nice stuff is gonna disappear, gentlemen, between the lines. But there is a lot of admiration and respect.
Well, Shane, everyone's talking about this Eagles offensive line, how great they are. This Eagles defensive line, how great they are. Haven't we already played a team where that was kind of the thought and everybody talking about them and we waxed them? And the 49ers, everyone talking, Trent Williams, this great offensive line, the Niners, this great defensive line. They've got a run game. Maybe they're not the quarterback run game, but they've got the weapons on the outside. They've got the secondary, and we demolished them. So maybe we can do it again and do it in Super Bowl 57.
Way to go. No, good call. Yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the number 1 defense. The Chiefs went in there on prime time this year and handled them. 49ers are the number 1 defense, and the Chiefs went in there, and it was a seesaw game. It was close till late in the third quarter, and the Chiefs ran away with it. And it scored, 44 points? So good point. And those are both NFC teams who had the #1 defense. So I look for the Chiefs to be able to play their style of football offensively for sure, especially if Patrick Mahomes stays healthy. But, you both have had a chance to talk to Kadarius Toney. You guys saw him in person. I know he got to practice Tuesday. Did you feel like his mind, he was really ready? Like he had his game face on, he was ready to go? What vibe?
Yeah, he said that, his whole life, his whole upbringing, playing at Florida has really prepared him for this moment. That's kind of what he said to us last night. That was kind of the only thing he would talk about. He wouldn't really want to kind of Marshawn Lynch the media a little bit last night. He's not getting fined.
To me, part of it was that he's just kind of focused on this game and ready to go and show what he can do and that he's healthy. And so part of it, he's like, man, I'm not going to get into a ton of things. I'm not going to say a lot. I'm just going to kind of keep my head down, and I'm focused on getting this ring.
Hey, man, look, these dudes ain't trying to talk to y'all, man. They trying to play the game. I'm going to be honest with you, because I watch all of the press conferences, and whenever they're like, final question, they're so antsy to get up out of there, and as soon as they're done, they're like, okay, thank you, bye. Like they immediately disappear, they leave. So they ain't trying to talk to y'all, man. They trying to play the game.
Yeah, we tried to get an interview with Justin Ross there for you, Shane, but he said, no, I'm not doing any media. So I don't know what that's about. Doesn't want to talk about the injury. He's a practice squad guy. I don't know, but he waved us off.
But, yeah, we had some really good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, Marcus Kemp, guys, Jody Fortson, there was
Reed Humphrey. Yeah.
We had a lot, and they were, kind of in a situation where when there's that many people, it was more of a festive environment. It was early in the week. We're not quite as down to business, but we are now, and we're going to have to go a little short here, guys. Here on Arrowhead Allies this week, we have this media party we have to go to, and this is just
bad for us.
They do.
Hey.
It's
Clint
not,
up there doing the robot.
We'll see how it pans out. It's like a long Uber right away. We're going to go to predictions. It's Super Bowl 57. This is the most important prediction segment we will have all year long. And it's our last one for the year, no matter what happens. So, Brian, I'm bestowing upon you to get us started here on the predictions.
All right, man. I think it'll be a bare knuckle brawl, man. The Eagles are going to bring it. Sirianni's he's a good coach. He knows how to scheme things up. But, man, Patrick Mahomes is going to get it done. I think Chris Jones has something to prove, too. Contract game for Chris Jones, too. He can earn himself some monster money. And so I got the Chiefs winning by 6, man. I'll keep it simple. 26-20. Chiefs win.
Yeah. What about you, Shane?
I think the Kansas City Chiefs will come out and they will defer. They'll win the coin toss and they'll defer. The Eagles will drive down the field 7 plays, 75 yards, and get a touchdown. The Chiefs will come back and kick a field goal. The Eagles will then go 7 plays, 75 yards, a touchdown. The Eagles will be up 14-3. The Kansas City Chiefs will have a long 8.5-minute drive, convert 2 fourth-down conversions, get a touchdown, and it'll be 14-10 Eagles, but it'll be game on because now your Spags will say, okay, I just saw them at 14 plays together, 2 7-play drives. I got this. And the Chiefs will hold, and the Chiefs will get the momentum, and the Chiefs will win 34-24. What say you, Mykell?
Man, so I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think just the growth of the Chiefs' defense throughout of the season is going to be big. I have it 31-27 Kansas City. I think that, Chris Jones and those guys find a way to cause a couple turnovers. You talked about the O-line, Clint and Noah, and I think that their O-line is a run-blocking O-line, but they're not too great at pass rushing, especially when Jalen has to go off his first read. And I think he's going to have some issues with the pass rush, and the Chiefs are going to find a way to hold on late as they will lead most of the game, but have to hold tight. But Chiefs win 31-27.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles here. Who else is from Philadelphia? I've been going with it kind of all playoffs long. Rocky Balboa. And I think these Chiefs have the eye of the tiger, and there may be no easy way out, Shane, but they're going to find a way. 27-23, your Kansas City Chiefs take down that Rocky Balboa from Philadelphia, and your Chiefs are the Super Bowl 57 champions. They have the experience. They have the will. They're going for that second ring, and they get it done, folks.
I'm losing my voice over here, y'all.
I tried to extend that so he could stop choking.
I needed you to take his play-by-play like
he's
Shane
all
did.
choked up. So.
Okay, Shane, I got some prop bets to make on your behalf. I'll tell you what, guys. Feeling good about this. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. You know, you look at what happened in the Cincinnati Bengals game at 23-20. The Chiefs never scored 30 except one time at home. Obviously, a neutral site here in the Super Bowl here at State Farm Stadium. I think it's going to be lower scoring, and I think it's going to be a come from behind. I think it's going to be 24-21. Harrison Butker making the game-winning field goal. Not going to say it's like overly dramatic. It might be one of those make the game-winning field goal with 1:20, and it looks dire, but the defense gets a stop late to make it happen. 24-21, the Chiefs take it home. Patrick Mahomes wins a second, putting him in that rarefied air with quarterbacks like John Elway, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, and then Patrick Mahomes. As we look to more and we look to the future, guys, it's going to be a bright one. Everyone here talking about how the AFC tried as they might, but they could not take down the Kansas City Chiefs. And so this is going to be fun for a lot of years to come.
Yeah, hey, I'm in the building here, Crypto.com Arena, where tonight, LeBron is looking to make history. He will make history.
Let me get my LeBron Lakers jersey.
They're going to get another Super Bowl, man. Pat and those guys are going to be ready to go. It's going to be real fun. It's going to be a great game. But I think the Chiefs, they're going to be ready to go, man. They know that, like Patrick Mahomes was talking this week about that feeling of losing against Tampa Bay.
Yes.
That's going to be the motivation for Andy Reid, for Spags, and just the guys who were a part of that team to say, hey, we can't let another one get away. And I think they're going to take care of business.
Amen.
I love it, Mykell. They didn't like the taste in their mouth from Tampa Bay. They don't like the taste in their mouth from last year's AFC Championship game. They righted the wrong of the AFC Championship game. Now it's time to right the wrong from that Super Bowl in Tampa Bay in Super Bowl 55, and we are going to right those on Sunday, Super Bowl 57, right here in Arizona. And one last time before that Super Bowl kicks off, one more Go Chiefs, guys. Go Chiefs!
Right,